Anyway, let's get right into the news here. I want you to listen to John Kirby here and some of the things that John Kirby has to say here as he threatens Russia. Let's hear what he has to say.
We'll continue to exploit the vacuums that are there in Syria to expand their operations.
They're going to exploit it.
Will include, no question, attacks against Russian interests, perhaps even Russian cities. And Russia will continue to send troops home in body bags.
Russia will send troops home in body bags. I mean, I have never seen a more direct threat to the Russian Federation than what I've seen now. But let me tell you why the threat is there. What happened? The United States, although they have claimed, and I love my country, but I do not like the Obama administration. Clearly, this is a regime that is bent on bringing the United States down, and they do not have any regard for the human life whatsoever. To put Americans at risk, whether it be Barack Obama or even Hillary Clinton, they're putting the American people's lives at risk when we could easily have peace with Russia. What is it about Syria that the United States wants so bad to destroy everybody else in order to get it? And yet the Obama administration, as well as the British, they claim, oh, it was an accident that we bombed the Syrian troops. Yes, so we killed 62 Syrian military there. We did, not only did we kill 62 of their troops there, but it also killed Russian and Iranian special forces as well. That's why he said we will continue to send Russians home in body bags. Now, if you notice what Mr. Kirby here had to say, notice it again. Listen to him. Let's listen to that again.
Russia will continue to send troops home in body bags. Here at the State Department.
Russia will continue to send troops home in body bags. Now, he's admitting now outright that they know they killed Russian troops in the strike that they did there on the Syrian army over there on the east side of Syria. Always that name slips my mind. I can't, because it's an odd name for me anyway. It's not like Aleppo or Damascus or something like that. Bel El Zord, I believe is how you pronounce the name there. But anyway, they're going to send them home in body bags. Continued. Notice the word continued. So therefore, he knows he killed them. But Russia didn't take it lying down either. Russia took and struck the intel center where there were Israeli Mossad agents, there were Saudis, Turkish, United States, and British forces were all involved in an intel inside of Aleppo who were directing the Syrian army forces. Now, according to some other news agencies as well, they are stating that the Syrian government, and I think this was on Sputnik, the Syrian government actually has the audio, intercepted audio between the intel group of the U.S.-led coalition and that of the ISIS troops on the ground, that they were preparing to do the attack, and they had them on standby as the U.S. went and struck the positions. Now, the Syrian army has this, so they know it was an intentional attack. And then what happens after that intentional attack by the United States and their coalition? Russia sends cruise missiles into Aleppo and hits the intel. This is why there's been a major blow-up. This is why they said there was such a major issue going on at the UN Security Council meeting when the United States calls for it. And the journalists are all saying something major must have happened in Syria before for the U.S. to call for this. Sure it did. The U.S. can't admit to it, because if the U.S. did, then the American people would know that the U.S. is backing sponsored terrorist organization ISIS once again. And not only the U.S., but the British, the Israeli, Mossad government, the whole group are backing this, and they're all working together, including the Turks, which lets Russia know that, one, Israel is not 100% behind or with Russia. So therefore, it puts my own Jewish people at odds as well with this type of a situation, to find out there were Mossad agents working in there with the United States. It lets me know that Prime Minister Netanyahu is caving into the pressure of the United States and doing whatever the Obama administration wants to do just because they got a little bit of money and shake the dollar in front of their face. That's a shame on Israel's part. That's why God is going to send two witnesses there to put this country back in order to get God's favor and for Israel to find God's favor. Because believe me, I am not for the political Zionism of Israel. I am for the Zionists, those Jews that have come home to see the Mashiach, to see the Messiah. Now, I can get on a big rant on this, guys, and never slow down at all. I hope you guys stay live on here as well on live stream. I see my battery is low. I couldn't find a wire quick enough to plug us in to keep us going. So let's pray God you do. And if not, catch it on YouTube, please. All right, Twitter, I want to show you what's going on right here. A good friend of mine here sends this to me here. Let me just show you. This here is grad launchers, okay? Here they go. In Syria near Aleppo. All right, I think that gets the point across. Let me tell you what happens, because if you'll notice, he says here
to exploit the vacuums that are.
He says we will continue to exploit the vacuums. The point was, the United States is willing to arm the Syrian rebels, ISIS, the moderate groups. Hey, they don't care who it is. They're going to, the vacuums are the people like ISIS. They will exploit it. Well, they just did. They sent them all these grad launchers. The Free Syrian Army, the rebels, ISIS, none of these guys had these things before, but now they do. And what do we have here? Also comes out, foreign states supply Syrian rebels with new grad rockets, FSA commanders. And that ones that were going off that you saw there on the screen, they were targeting the Syrian army with those grad launchers. So they have stepped it up a bit. Now see, the U.S. is still using the other forces there to do these attacks. How is Russia going to deal with this? It's going to come to the place now where Russia cannot hold back on hitting the moderate rebels that they had said they would not fight against for the sake of the United States. It's going to change. Foreign states have supplied Syrian rebels with surface-to-surface grad rockets in response to the Russian-backed offensive in Aleppo, according to Fars al-Bayoush, rebel commander of the Free Syrian Army. Rockets for the Grad BM-21 multi-launcher system with ranges of 22 kilometers, 40 kilometers have recently been supplied in excellent quantities, Reuters news agency reported on Wednesday. Guys, we're at war. This is a major issue. We are definitely at war. Now, I want to show you, though, how that we know they have demonized Bashar al-Assad, and I'm beginning to see this more and more, guys. The Obama administration, this is the crookedest government the U.S. has ever had in its entire history. I mean, we've already got all the different videos out there that the U.S. was behind the 9/11 attacks, and which, you know, the families never want to believe this, and I can understand why. I can't believe that, that our own government would be willing to kill off our own people to justify going to war with Iraq. But remember, that Gog, he cares nothing for life whatsoever. Let me show you something. This is Aaron Erdem. I never saw this video before. This is before he was ever arrested. This is when he was in court as an attorney trying ISIS, freely moving about in the country of Turkey. Watch what Aaron says here. I'm going to have to read it to you. So let me turn the volume down so we can actually, I can read it to you as he says these things here. He says, my friends, as you know, the indictment I am not going to mention his name, was added to the file. Okay? All right? Following the crimes. All right? He says, attempt to destroy the constitutional order, attempt to willful murder, affiliation to the terrorist organization, which means affiliation to ISIS. He's showing that Turkey has an affiliation with ISIS. Look, my friends, in these documents which are classified, it says that IB has smuggled 1,800 militants from Turkey to Syria since 2011. The man's holding the documents. He is showing you that this organization inside of Turkey has smuggled in nearly 2,000 militants. Now this, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, was back in, when he said this, was back in 2013. This was before the attack that was done on Syria with the sarin gas. Okay? Let's see what else. While he was smuggling them in groups of 3 and 4, he was instructing them how to meet in front of the gas station to stay at a hotel. Now, this is just to show you that Turkey was involved in that. But Aaron Erdem, this man here, is now in a Turkish prison. He was a member of parliament of Turkey. But why did he end up in prison? Because he went forward with this documents in hand. He didn't reveal the documents, what it said, but he went forward to the RT and it revealed to RT that in 2013, when the world accused Bashar al-Assad of gassing his own people, that it was all a lie, that the same ISIS groups were smuggling in the chemical weapons. The Turkish authorities had intercepted them. They were arrested, but then the government quickly changed the judge. Not once, not twice, 3 times they changed judges to make sure that the guys would be let go with all the chemical weapons that they needed, the sarin gas. Aaron Erdem said that gas stuff, all the stuff to build these bombs came from Europe, and he said it couldn't have been done without the West knowledge, meaning the Obama administration. And he said the odd thing is at the very time that Bashar al-Assad was accused of using sarin gas on his own population, Aaron Erdem said, well, that was the time that it was released. Within just a few days later, it was used on the civilian population. So yes, what is happening? The Obama administration is willing to make it look like it's Assad. And even what did we have when we just released on the news the other day? The peace organization from America, the delegation goes and visits Syria. They didn't just meet with the Syrian government. They met with the opposition as well and come back and know from what they have met and discovered that we're getting nothing but a big bunch of propaganda in America. That's why we had to create another channel for our teachings on, at least. For those of you that want to know truth from, at least from the prophecy side, because our type channel here, they don't want. But we will continue to do news on Vimeo as well. Stephen Ben-Noon at Vimeo. All right, I don't know how that works. We'll post the links in here for you. All right, so this is the smoking gun that Bashar al-Assad never used chemical weapons on his own people. It was backed by Turkey. It was all smuggled through there, and all the chemicals came from Europe, according to Aaron Erdem. And he has the documents in his hand and knows everything about it. And it wasn't just these documents of the smuggling. He had the documents of everything that happened with the sarin gas as well. All right, now let me show you another one here. Seymour Hersh. He's a London journalist, and he writes here, says Hillary approved sending Libya sarin to Syrian rebels. That was another one that proved that it come from the United States and behind it. They sent it to Libya, the sarin gas, and it was for the Syrian rebels. The great investigative journalist Seymour Hersh, in 2 previous articles in the London Review of Books, Who's Sarin? The Red Line and the Rat Line, has reported that the Obama administration falsely blamed the government of Syria, Bashar al-Assad, for the sarin gas attack that Obama was trying to use as an excuse to invade Syria. And Hersh pointed to a report from British intelligence saying that the sarin that was used didn't come from Assad's stockpile. Hersh also said a secret agreement in 2012 was reached between Obama administration and the leaders of Turkey, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar to set up a sarin gas attack and blame it on Assad so that the U.S. could invade and overthrow Assad. And by the way, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and Turkey were part of the intel group when Russia struck them with the cruise missiles that died in that attack. You don't think that they're not there to overthrow this man? Why are they trying to overthrow him? What did Assad do? He never gassed his people. And all these chemical weapons now and this phosphoric that's being used, they're blaming on Bashar al-Assad and Russia again that they're using incendiary devices and sending all over America all these burned children, and it's not Russia, and it's not the Syrian government. We're being lied to. That's what's happened. We're being lied to. U.S. admits to supplying Saudi Arabia with white phosphorus munitions. Well, look what white phosphorus munitions does. And the U.S. government admitted to it. The U.S. has faced growing pressure in recent months over arms sales to Saudi Arabia as their airstrikes in Yemen have caused massive numbers of civilian casualties. September the 20th, 2016 is when this was published. And new evidence that Saudi Arabia has begun to use white phosphorus munitions in their war in Yemen. U.S. officials are admitting that the weapons were provided by the United States in the past. They declined to say when or how many weapons were provided. By the way, you don't have to use an airplane to drop this either. It can be done from ground launching type of apparatus. So we have that. We also have Turkey hit Kurdish city with internationally banned phosphorus bombs. That was May 18th, 2016. The Turkish government using phosphorus on the Kurds. Well, don't forget the U.S., they only back the Kurds if it fits their agenda. The Turkish army forces have reportedly used internationally banned phosphorus bombs in a military campaign on the Kurdish city of Nusaybin, southeast of Turkey. Activists and eyewitnesses reported on Tuesday. This comes amid contentious military operations by the Turkish troops against the Kurdish city in Nusaybin that have not stopped since 14th of March. We're being lied to, guys. We are being lied to like never before. And if God doesn't do something to change this administration and not put in Hillary Clinton, it's going to spell disaster for America.